Good morning. My name's Tom Swanson. I've been a practicing lawyer for over 35 years, and I want to welcome you to Swanson's Law of the Streets, where you get information and the straight stuff on the law without all the frills and confusion. In particular, for the foreseeable future, I'm going to spend time streaming on legal terminology, okay? But not the normal legal terminology that you get by looking in legal dictionaries and things like that. You know, the thing is that the thing is dictionaries have their use, and I'm hesitant to criticize them. I remember when I was a teenager, though, there were two words I used to describe dictionaries, and that's dictionaries suck. Of course, I'm older and wiser now. One thing I will tell you, though, where it gets really difficult is when you start talking about legal terminology. There's a couple of things that come to mind, and that is that lawyers tend to use confusing words that they don't have to many times. For example, they say prior instead of before. They say subsequent rather than after. I mean, just these kinds of basic things. I'm convinced that's why lawyers have trouble getting dates. But I operate from the law of the streets, and that means I can give you information that is correct, but you can understand it. Okay, it reminds me of a joke. You don't hear jokes much anymore, which is too bad. But there's a joke that if you cross a lawyer with the Godfather, you get an offer you can't understand. And the thing is that a lawyer should be obligated to make sure that people understand what he or she is talking about. So we're going to start out today with some legal terminology because, in part, I hear so many people say things that they don't even understand. You know, it's part of the First Amendment to the Constitution. They don't say it quite this way in the Constitution, but basically what they mean is, under our constitutional system, we have the freedom to talk even when we don't know what we're talking about, okay? And I'll tell you what, that's on the increase. But you don't want to be like that. You don't want to be an ignoramus, do you? So we're going to start out, and we're going to start with legal terminology, and I'm going to do some every day for the foreseeable future. By the way, if you decide that, you know, you're really interested in maintaining and building a legal glossary, okay, what you can do is you can email me at thomasswanson@paralegal.edu, which is my email address at the Center for Advanced Legal Studies in Houston, Texas, where I'm an instructor and the academic dean. Or you can send it to my Gmail account, my personal Gmail account, because I am a practicing lawyer as well. And that is Tom Swanson, ATTY, guess what, an abbreviation for attorney, Tom Swanson, ATTY @gmail.com. Send me a request, and I will email you the glossary to date, and I build it as I'm going along with the streaming. So you just let me know, and I'll give you something that you might really be able to use. So let's start. First term. Attorney of record. Yeah. The thing is that you use a term like that, and in context is everything. So let's back up a little bit and start with a term that's important to know in advance. Let's take a common one that people, if you were to ask them, they use it all the time, but if you ask them what it is, they probably couldn't tell you. How about this word? Lawsuit. Okay? Yeah. I'm in a lawsuit. I'm in a lawsuit right now. I'm testifying in a lawsuit. Lawsuit. What does it mean? Okay. Well, if you look it up in legal dictionaries and stuff, you'll probably blow your brains out. But basically, it means the following. It is a request to a court for some form of civil relief. Kind of sounds like legal Rolaids, doesn't it? Yeah. Civil relief. What that means is lawsuits are civil matters. They're not criminal matters. They do not involve crimes, typically. They involve people asserting their individual rights in court against others. So, for example, whether it's a car wreck or a breach of contract, a real estate dispute or whatever, it involves private actions between normally private parties. So a lawsuit, once again, a request to a court for some form of civil relief. Okay. Now, in a lawsuit, typically you're going to have generally two parties. You can have more, but the basic parties to a lawsuit are as follows. The plaintiff or petitioner, okay? What that means is one who sues, okay? So if you're suing somebody, you are a plaintiff or you're a petitioner, okay? And why do they have both names instead of just one? Oh, it has to do with history and a lot of other stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. Plaintiff or petitioner, one who sues. Next, defendant. In civil law, in the context of a lawsuit, it means one who is sued. Another term that can be used for one who is sued is respondent. Okay? Once again, don't worry why there's more than one name for them. It just depends. A lot of history and stuff that pencil necks would be interested in, but not you. Okay. Now, when we talk about the lawsuit begins with something being filed with the court. And anything you file with the court, typically, which is a lawsuit document called a pleading, you'll need to have a title. So the first document that starts off the lawsuit has one of two names. It's either a petition, that's one term that's used in the title, or complaint, okay? So, for example, here in Texas, we start off a lawsuit with, for example, what is called the plaintiff's original petition. That's the title, so it's a petition. But in federal court, whether it's in Texas or anywhere else, a federal lawsuit starts off with the term complaint. That's the title, okay? And so some states use petition, some states use complaint, okay? But that gets everything rolling. What you get served with if you're sued is either a petition or a complaint, okay? Now, we get back to the good old term we started with, attorney of record, okay? An attorney of record is an attorney who enters an appearance in a court matter, a court proceeding, on behalf of a party. So, for example, let's say somebody comes to me and says, Swanson, I have been sued. Here is the petition that was served on me, okay? And I look at it and I said, yep, you've been sued, okay? Well, I want you to represent me and defend me in this lawsuit, okay? So what happens is I will file an answer to the lawsuit, and at the end of the answer is my name, my Texas state bar number, okay? Address, telephone number, fax number, email address, okay? When I do that, when I enter that, when I file that document with my name as the attorney, I become the attorney of record. And being an attorney of record imposes certain important responsibilities on an attorney, okay? First of all, you are representing to the court, I am this person's attorney. This person has authorized me to enter this lawsuit on their behalf, okay? And once you're in, normally as an attorney of record, you don't get out until one of two things happens. Either the case ends and is completed, or the judge authorizes you to cease representing the party. Otherwise, the attorney of record has responsibilities. It doesn't mean a responsibility to a happy client only. It can be responsibilities to an unhappy client. It doesn't just mean easy clients. It means difficult clients, okay? The point is, once you make that decision as a lawyer to enter as an attorney of record, that imposes special responsibilities upon you with respect to the court, with respect to fellow attorneys, and with respect to the client. Okay? All right. So the thing is that now you know what a lawsuit is. You know what a plaintiff or petitioner is. You know what a defendant or respondent is. Yeah. You know what the name, typically the title for the lawsuit is when it's initially filed. And you know what an attorney of record is. Okay? So the thing is, you know, that if you were like me, who's been in the law, it seems like since I was about 18, that I was always curious about things. What did this mean? How did this work in the law? That sort of thing. Well, it begins with terminology. Okay? Terminology is power when it comes to the law, because what happens is somebody needs a lawyer many times because they don't know the terminology. They get papers served on them, or they get into a legal problem of some kind. They don't even understand what the terminology is. Well, you can get a leg up. And if you decide, you know, at some point that, you know, I really find this stuff interesting, which, you know, then, you know, you may decide to make the legal field a career. You know, here at the Center for Advanced Legal Studies, you know, we have been educating and training paralegals for both, you know, for some 30 years. We have both live programs and online programs, so, you know, available to people from Texas and everywhere else. So, you know, the thing is that it's my pleasure to start off today by giving you, you know, basically, you know, Swanson's Law of the Street glossary, and we're going to build on it every day. So remember, if you want to actually receive the glossary as we go along, you know, just notify me at Thomas Swanson at paralegal.edu or TomSwansonAtty at gmail.com. Have a great day.